Good evening and welcome back to the channel. So I have a quick video. I have to make this quick because I've tried to post this before. It was 20 minutes long and it just takes forever to upload. So I'm going to have to condense everything down. I'm going to talk fast. I'm probably going to miss a lot of different nuance here. So just take that, understand that before you watch this video. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. Okay, so the US just announced that they were going to be removing, I guess, certain Russian banks from the SWIFT system. So this is a developing story. Mainstream media is reporting on this story, so stay up to date on this. It did not say exclusively all Russian banks, but I believe it did say select Russian banks. So that's one thing. All right, completely separate from that, I'm going to get into the real reason I wanted to make this video. So, guys, there's going to be a lot of people saying a lot of things. Okay, there's going to be a lot of people virtue signaling and clout chasing about this and that and the other, about Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, blah, 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 the Great Reset, all these other things. If the people, the independent content creators that are pushing out all this information, if they are not clearly stating what is happening with the new internet and financial system that's being, and I mean the whole picture, not just talking about CBDCs or digital IDs, okay? Those are a very small portion of the whole picture. So if you're listening to people who are pushing out certain content and they're not covering the most important thing happening that can be factually proven just by going on and doing basic research on certain websites, if they're not reporting on that, but they're reporting on everything else, I think that you should take what they're saying with a grain of salt. That's not that I saying that you should disregard what they're saying. I listen to a lot of content creators like that, but I take what they're saying with a grain of salt because I know that if I know this information, if you know this information, then it's most likely that they know the information as well. Now, I think some of them don't. I can tell just by listening to them that they're not really fully with it on exactly what's happening here. They have a general understanding, but not the whole picture. So the point that I'm trying to make is that the reason why everybody's confused, the reason why there's millions of people that have absolutely no idea what's going on, and the reason why there are so many alternative theories popping up as this is what's going on behind the scenes, or that's what's going on behind the scenes. Do you notice that most of the time, these things are coming from people who are not mentioning the new internet and financial system being implemented? So what I believe that we're seeing is the people in charge are telling the truth. You can go on their websites right now. They'll tell you the truth about what this is and what it's doing and the timeline here in a general sense, that it's happening right now. And this is the future. This is the new system. So they're telling the truth. Now, everybody under that, the politicians, the media, and independent content creators. All right, let's go down the line. Politicians and the media, their job is to lie to you. That should be your expectations of them. You should expect them to lie to you because that's what they get paid to do. All right, that's their mission statement, and they're just following their job description. So let's move them out of the way. Now we're left with the independent content creators, which is where the real problem is. At this point in time, given all the publicly available information that we know exists, that you know and that I know, the fact that they're reporting on world events, okay, this is they have decided to assume this responsibility for their job is to report on world events and news and to be an alternative to the mainstream media who they say lies about everything, and they're right about that, but they're no better in this sense. If all these things are going on and it's very clear that there's one thing that is overwhelmingly more important, has more implications than anything else, it's very clear. You could actually prove that using certain metrics, that implementing a new internet and financial system, there's never been a technical project this big ever been attempted in world history. So the fact that it has so many implications and it's going to touch everything and everybody's going to use it, and so that's out there, hands down the biggest story in the world. But they won't talk about that. They'll talk about everything else. So what does that do? So all of their viewers are hearing all these different stories, and they can't really make sense of them other than just the world's ending. So what do? Human beings naturally, when we are reading and looking at a bunch of information that doesn't entirely make sense and we feel like there's missing pieces that we don't have, they try to draw conclusions and they try to speculate on what all of this means and what could be going on behind the scenes. All of that would be eliminated if they just knew the biggest thing that's happening. But because they don't know, because the independent content creators that they listen to are not willing to report on factual information. You don't have to get into conspiracy. You can just go on websites and you say, guys, I'm not saying this means one thing, one way or the other. I'm just telling you it is factual information. Here is the sources. You can go look at this for yourself. All they would have to do is provide that additional information, and it would help a lot of other things make sense to a lot of people. But they're not willing to do that. So the takeaway here is for these people who are reporting on all these things that are going on, but they're not willing to openly talk about the most important thing going on, I think that you should take what they have to say with a grain of salt. I listen to people like this, but I take what they have to say with a grain of salt. I understand that on certain topics, they might be more knowledgeable than I am. And if they're talking about that topic, I want to listen to what they have to say because they have more experience and knowledge than I do. But, you know, guys, if you're listening to people who are saying this is going on, that's going on, this is going on, and they're not talking about the internet and financial system being implemented, you've beat them to the punch. You should be telling them what's going on. You should be going in the comment section, you know, hey, bro, actually, this is what's happening. Here's all the different examples to back up what I'm saying. This is all factual information that would take 10 seconds to verify. You should be telling them what's going on. But I think that because nobody's saying it, nobody with a big platform really is saying this. The only people saying this have small platforms outside of Chris Green, and I disagree with Chris Green on a lot, over half of what he says probably, I disagree with him on. But I have a tremendous amount of respect for him because on this particular issue, he will tell the truth about it openly, clearly, and he's one of the only people with a big platform that will do it. All the other large content creators, they're not going to tell the truth about this. So again, they are leaving people with enough information to be frustrated, angry, and confused, and left to speculate and to come up with or to look for alternative theories and reasons as to why everything is happening, when the real reason, okay, that's an opinion. When I say everything's happening because the new system is being implemented, that's an opinion, okay? But at some point in time, after we see all these things that are happening, and coincidentally, they all do the same thing, they have the same end result for the most part. They increase the demand for the new system and they hurt the old system. Just like what we saw with the sanctions coming in 30 minutes ago. So at what point do all of these things stop being coincidences? And at what point do they start to just be, these are happening because of this? That's everybody has a different threshold for how much information they need to see to be able to assume certain conclusions. So we'll all come to different parts there. We'll all fall on different, parts of the spectrum. But at what point does it stop being coincidences? Right? So the main takeaway here, guys, is for anybody who's saying this is going on, that's going on, this is going on, they may be right about what they're saying. They may be very honest and sincere with their reporting. But if they are not covering the most important thing happening, you have to ask yourself why. And you've beat them to the punch. Again, you should be telling them what's going on. All right? But the only reason that people are doing that is because of these large independent content creators. They're a problem, guys. They really are. They're a problem at this point in time because their unwillingness to tell the truth, and they don't have to cause panic. They don't have to push theories. They could just solely report on factual information that the people in charge have made public, right? I mean, the frustration should be geared more towards the independent content creators than the people in charge, because the people in charge are telling the truth. Politicians, media, their job is to lie. Independent content creators, that's where we're supposed to be able to go to get real factual information, to be able to hear the truth. And none of them are doing it. So, but they'll give you just enough information to be confused and to have to come up with alternative theories to be able to make sense of it. And there's going to be a million alternative theories. And some of them may be accurate. They may be accurate about what they're saying is going on, okay? But if you take whatever they say the thing is always the thing that nobody will talk about openly in public on a big platform. And nobody will talk openly about the new system being rapidly implemented. They'll talk about crypto. They'll talk about it in the context of it being an internet currency with nothing backing it. They won't tell you the truth about how big this is. They won't tell you the truth that this is the tech that everything is going to be on, that everybody's going to be using. All businesses, banks, corporations, governments are going to be running all their systems on this tech. They won't tell the truth about that. But they'll tell the truth through the context of this is just an internet currency that people are using to get away from, fiat currencies, which is just the least important use case as far as using it as a currency. So they won't tell you the truth about it. So the thing is always the thing that nobody will tell the truth about. People, all these people, the independent content creators, they'll tell the truth about Klaus Schwab, the Great Reset, all these other things, right? CBDCs, they'll tell the truth about all that, but they won't tell the truth about the thing, right? And what that has done, it has left millions, hundreds of millions, billions of people confused, angry, frustrated, and worst of all, trying to draw conclusions and come up with theories to make sense of all these things, when the explanation is right there. Whether or not you choose to believe that everything is happening because of this or not, if everyday people knew all that information, all this other stuff would make a lot more sense to them, whether you believe it's all happening because of that or not. So that's what I wanted to just relay. Take everything that you hear from everybody that is not willing to openly talk about this with a grain of salt. I'm not saying don't listen to them. You can listen to, you can do whatever you want to do, guys. I'm just saying that you really have to start asking questions. At this point in time, knowing what type of information is publicly available, you have to start asking questions as far as why these people aren't saying it. So that's that. All right, guys, things are going to get interesting with these sanctions. And you know what? Hey, guys, another day, another major thing happens that is in favor of the further adoption and advancement of the new system. So I can tell the future, guys. Over the next 12 months, there's going to be a lot of other world events that happen that drive demand for the old system and drive demand for the new system and make the old system weaker. I can tell you the future. That's what's going to happen. Okay. So trust the plan, guys. Trust the plan. All right. That's all I got. Not financial advice. Take care. Have a good night. I'll see you in the next video.